Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. We are back here with Katherine Lash. Excited to have her right here live on the Zoomcast and podcast today from Spiritquest Sedona Retreats. Yeah, she's from beautiful Sedona, Arizona, and wait till you get to talk to her. She's the owner of her own company, spiritual energy healer, and she's offering home, private retreats, spiritual retreats, adults, couples, children, families, you name it. She does them, and she's here joining us today now and to talk more about all the services she offers. Welcome back. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you.
Well, first and foremost, I want everyone to go to your website. It's retreatsinsedona.com, correct?
That's correct.
And let's start off with getting to know you. Tell us about yourself and what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I founded Spiritquest Retreats in 2007. So basically, I was facing some issues of my own, a divorce, and some kind of dark issues in my life, things I didn't know how to deal with or navigate. I didn't have the tools. So before I started Spirit Quest, I actually went on an adventure for myself in Asia. Went to 10 countries and, learned a lot and gathered a lot of tools. And because I was able to use those tools to overcome issues I was facing, panic attacks and anxiety and depression and also what I call the dark night of the soul, where how I thought the world was going to be was different. Then I got those tools, and because I got those tools, I came back to Sedona and I started my company.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited to have you here, and there's so much to you that you offer. But let me also find out this spiritual side of you. Is this something you were given as a gift? It was an innate gift since birth. Could you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So yeah, we deal very much with
Mm.
energy and spirituality. We are a holistic wellness center, so we're mind, body, spirit, but definitely that spirit side or that spiritual side comes in for every client, for ourselves, from the point that we talk to them on the phone all the way to the end, where not only myself, but my retreat coordinators and even my staff, a lot of them are very intuitive. And we really kind of believe that everybody's intuitive. It's just a matter of to what extent are you able to stop, slow down, be present, and listen. That's really the key, because I believe spirit is talking to all of us all the time. We're getting messages, we're getting insights, we're getting those ahas. And I know a lot of times we just assign that to the mind and the brain. But in my perspective, the brain is just an organ and it does things for me, just like, my kidneys filter my blood,
Mm-hmm.
I have these different organs and they do these wonderful things for me. My stomach digests my food and so forth. Well, my brain helps me keep track of time and the sequence of events and memories of the past and organization for the future. But I am not my brain. I am not my mind. I am so much more than my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And to help other people realize that there's much more to us than our minds, because the problem is that the egoic mind, it does serve us in that it wants us to win, and it wants to say, hey, remember the last time you touched that fire? Next
Yeah.
time you touch it, it's going to burn you. That is helping me. But when it's talking all the time and it chatters about everything I want to do, then I'm stuck in that egoic monkey mind. And that's what the retreats are about, is breaking that identification with that's who I am. Because just because your mind told you so doesn't mean that it's the right decision, or it's the way it really is. If we can open ourselves up to a much bigger, expansive view of the universe and our own lives, a universal view, a view, if you will, with spirit or soul or God or whatever you want to call it, that thing bigger and grander, then we can receive messages not just from our emotions, not just from our mind, but from something bigger. And so, yes, I have learned to do that and to really slow down and really pay attention. And so, when clients call, we sit with the information we gather and we say, what suits this person best? What should they have first? What should they have second? Who should they be working with? What should this experience look like for them? And that's where our intuitive abilities come into play in these personally designed retreats.
Beautiful. Did you want to specify some of the specific retreats that you have and any that are coming up currently that we should be aware of?
Absolutely. So we do have retreats that happen mid-month for the public. They're called group retreats. And those are just open to the public. They're Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We do have a shamanic group retreat coming up this weekend. But there's a whole schedule of them on our website. We're going to be offering 2 a month starting next year. But what we're really known for is the personal one-on-one retreats. And those happen 7 days a week, year round. We design those for people who call. We listen, we do an intake, and we determine what they need. We help them put together these packages. So as you mentioned, we have that spiritual retreat to really help take your spirituality to the next level, to get some spiritual tools like meditation or yoga, or even just breath work techniques and so forth. Or we also have couples retreats. Those are very, very popular for couples who are just going through it, and they may not be. They may just want to have an adventure and bond, and we have those too. But most of our couples who call us are struggling a little bit. They're trying to get those communication tools. They're trying to learn to validate each other. They're trying to learn to have gratitude and not take each other for granted. They're trying to get on the same page of duties and distribution of time. They're trying to learn how to own it when you mess up, like say, hey, that was my fault. Or even trust issues. We have a lot of trust violations, whether it's infidelity or whatever the trust issue is. So we go into the love languages, we go into the particular issue that we hear about on the intake. And then we design that program. Sometimes those couples retreats do require people to do separate sessions on their own, like emotional clearing, where they're looking at their own past and what they're bringing to this relationship, and then come together as a couple and sort of share. They can also have a massage while they're here, and many other things, sound and breath, many other things we offer. But those couples retreats are fantastic in growing your relationship, in taking the next step. We can also work with blended families. We can work with people. We've even worked with divorced couples who want they want to raise their children in an amicable environment. So regardless of where you're at, if you're just separated, or you're going to facing a divorce, or you're wanting to work on specific things, the whole gamut, we can assist. We're really known as relationship experts.
Got it. Well, let me ask, could you share some success stories from these retreats?
So the first thing I want to say about that is that we never promise that, there's no guarantees in life, right? I mean, but one thing we do promise is that we will bring you to your own truth, because when you learn to walk in your own authentic, genuine truth, then that's really the bottom line. That's what your partner wants to know. No one wants to hear something just because they think you want to hear it. They want to know the truth spoken in kindness, integrity, and love. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes it does go apart, because that is the deepest heart. That's the deepest truth. However, a great deal of them, and I would say most of them, they're just looking for more tools. And once they get those tools, then they're able to, as long as they go home and utilize those tools, then they're able to move forward. So, we have tons of testimonials on the internet. If you go to our business profile, you will see so many people speaking about their experience here and what a success it was. And I will say that sometimes for our couples, people come alone and they'll work on themselves first, and then they'll leave. I did have one couple that they're from San Francisco, and they were like on that gerbil wheel of today, of trying to pay for the house, pay for the cars, all of that. And the gentleman was just working himself to death, and he started drinking. And this is really what the issue became, is the wife was fed up with the drinking. And they came a couple of times here to our retreat. And the last time that they came, the gentleman, after they left, they emailed us back and they sold everything and they bought an RV and they left the country they went on the country
Wow.
traveling in their RV and reuniting, and because they'd been married for like 25 years, reuniting, rekindling. I knew the kids were gone, a new phase in their lives, and they decided that working on the relationship was more important than this day-to-day grind of trying to keep up with all of that. So people approach it from many different ways, but I love that one. I really enjoyed it and laughed when they told me that that's what they had decided to do.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for that. And by the way, why don't you share with us the best form and all forms of contact here, since we're halfway through the show? Tell us how we can reach you.
Yes, so our phone number is 928-282-2509, 928-282-2509. And we're here on Arizona time on the West Coast. And they can also text that number as well, and we'll respond immediately to a text. They can also email us at staff@retreatsinsedona.com. That's our website, retreatsinsedona.com.
Perfect. Thank you. What else would you say sets you apart from people who do retreats? I mean, you're in a great location. I'll give you that.
Yes, and I'll take that, because I will say that a lot of, I would say almost all of our people who come, they do venture out on the land. So we do have a retreat center, and we do massages, we do sound clearings, we do breath work, we do a bunch of stuff in the center. We do life coaching, spiritual coaching, nutritional coaching. But we also go out on that land and we walk in the beautiful red rocks, and just Google Sedona, Arizona. It'll blow you away. It's so beautiful. And a lot of people do talk about the vortex energy of Sedona, and coming and interacting in that vortex energy. That vortex is swirling, it's movement. It's so when we are stuck and we're shut down, then we're not moving and flowing in our lives. Maybe we have a story we're stuck in, and we're in the victim story over and over again. This is what happened to me, and or whatever it is. But we get closed down, or maybe we're just stuffing our emotions.
Hmm.
Well, that vortex movement allows us to shed that and open and shift it, maybe clear it out, maybe cleanse it, maybe reframe it, maybe think about it a different way, maybe do it a different way. And so being in Sedona and being inspired by these amazing, majestic red rocks And we have a special permit to take them one-on-one to private spots. These are not tourist spots. These are one-on-one adventures that can be even for your family. But we take it out to those private spots where it's nice and quiet, and you can just feel yourself, and you can really have that time to reflect and to discover and to open the doors into what do I need to let go of. And if I let go of that, I create space for something new to come in.
Beautiful. And it's possible to bring something new in, and it's always good to feel good.
Yes,
Do you work with people who have a lot of stress, anxiety, mental exhaustion, and it could be cured by these type of retreats?
we do. That's primarily what we deal with. As you know, today is so crazy in this workaday world, and these artificial lights and this push to achieve and to make the money. And so many people have anxiety. And so that's one of the number one issues that we deal with is how to get the tools to be more present, to breathe, to utilize that yoga breath work that centers us, to balances us, how to release and reduce that anxiety. And sometimes that anxiety is due to a event occurring. So when people have a lot of transitional points, maybe someone passed away, maybe they're going through a divorce, maybe they're going through a separation, maybe they just lost their job, maybe they have their job but they don't like it anymore, they lost their purpose, they don't want to be there anymore. There's so many situations that then can really amp up that anxiety. A traumatic event, for example, something happened, a car accident, or who knows. We can take those traumatic events, we can take those transitional points that are occurring and say, okay, let's dive deeper into that so that we can get the tools and the skills to move through it in a graceful way. Because the real challenge is, yes, you can read these books, yes, you can get these so-called, you can go to yoga class and all that, but when you actually are facing the crisis, when your world is actually falling apart, when that particular thing actually happens to you, the real test is, what do you do with it? Because now is the time you got to pull out all those tools. Now is the time that you really have to implement, and by doing these things when it's not the big event, it's just your day-to-day life. You're doing this deep breathing, you're doing these mindfulness exercises each day, you're doing the Shempashan Luke where you're not attaching to things, you're just letting it flow. All these different tools we teach, when you do them along the way, then when the big traumatic event happens, then you will be more apt to be able to truly use those to get through this horrible thing that you're facing in your
Mm-hmm.
life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah. And do you also work with people one-on-one for sessions without
Yes,
just the retreats?
that's the
It's
primary
the
thing we
most.
do. They're
Mm-hmm.
all one-on-one
Got it.
sessions. So
Mm-hmm.
when they come for that private retreat, they might have 10 one-on-one sessions with 10 different practitioners. So we have 30
Why?
practitioners, and we form a team saying, this person's coming, this is what they're going through. You will be the team. And first they're going to do this, then they're going to do that. And so the team itself knows, okay, in the very beginning, we're going to be getting them to let go, to release all that. And then toward the middle of the retreat, they're then gaining the tools. And then toward the end of the retreat, they even look different. If we took a before and after picture, they even look like a different person by the end of the retreat. But then that's a time for a plan of action for going home. So we end the retreat with, what did you learn? How are you going to take care of your physical body? How are you going to take care of your emotional body? How are you going to take care of your mental body? How are you going to take care of your spiritual body? And what patterns did you identify that you're no longer going to do? And so, yeah, these retreats are, that's why we call personal customized retreats, because they are designed specifically for the individual or couple or family.
Beautiful. And also knowing that you have a lot of experience clearly in this field and you truly love what you do. Has there ever been a time where someone has approached you and it was something out of the ordinary you needed to help fix? I mean, with them, a lot of us have emotional childhood trauma, right? That we kind
Right.
of get to the core of it. Has there ever been a case where you couldn't fix someone? I mean,
Well, I don't fix anyone. So
you're
that's
right. You're right. They fix
right.
themselves. I know what you mean. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So I love that you phrased it that way, because sometimes that's what people are looking for. It's like most of the time they're like, help me, fix me. Like, what are you going to do for me? And it's like, girlfriend, let me tell you how we're going to work with you. We're going to empower yourself. We're going to give you all the tools to fix yourself. And that's why we're no one's gurus. These aren't funky, excuse me. These aren't funky.
I know what you meant. I got you, girl. And plus, radio,
Yeah,
we can say anything.
that was a little
Yeah.
slip. But anyway, these aren't, they're not way out there. They're really very grounded, and they're really based on tried and true principles of tools that actually work. And so, but part of it's just the mindset. Part of it's just changing somebody's mindset, having them go, aha, wow, this is the way I've been doing it my whole life, thinking about it this way my mom thought about it, this way my family's passed down for generations, maybe. And so, to answer your question, when it doesn't work is when they don't believe that, when they don't believe they're worthy. They don't believe they can change their own lives. They want someone to do it for them. No, when you can believe in your own self, this is the one great blessed life you have. So if you want to be miserable your whole life, go ahead. If you want to be filled with anxiety and depressed your whole life, well, go ahead. But you don't have to. You don't have to, and we can help you change it. So you deserve joy and freedom and peace and serenity and love. And I truly believe that it's there for every single person. It's available, but the first step is to convince you to believe in yourself.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, for being here. And to close out the session, remind us how we could reach you again.
Yes, so our business name, you could Google, is Spiritquest Sedona Retreats. But if you want to go to our website, it's retreatsinsedona.com, and that's plural, retreatsinsedona.com. And we would love to have you text us at 928-282-2509, 928-282-2509.
Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Great to see you in person.
Nice to
You're
see you,
beautiful.
Jill.
And you're like, I can't see myself, but you look great.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. And you look great too.
Thank you. It got dark outside, so I put the light on before, but thank you so much, sweetheart. You have a great day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
when I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.